What's going on, guys? It's a regular guy with the Regular Guy Firearms channel, and I'm bringing you all the longevity review on the Springfield M1A Scout Squad. This video has actually been kind of a long time coming, and I'm sorry. It is only a post 7,000 rounds review because screw you guys, I'm not made out of fucking money, and 308's expensive. But we're going to go over a bunch of things that I personally really dug about the entire experience, and things that I didn't, meaning things that I would personally change. Like a motherfucker, actually, on this particular rifle. Now, we're going to go ahead and start from the top to the bottom, and then once we're done clearing all that crap out, we will go to personal experiences, quirks, and all that good guy shit. Now, check it out. As I said before in my initial review, these iron sights are amazing. They are crystal clear, they show up real nice, and it's easy to pick out things far away. And if you know the iron sight trick for close quarters type stuff, then it's easy to pick up things up close too. Now, my only kind of sort of issue with this particular rifle is that depending on where you get them, you can get the iron sight adjustments on here, and they can be kind of tight. Now, I realize that there are ways to loosen this up a little bit, so it's not that big of a deal. But it actually took me a little bit to figure out that, hey, these can show up kind of tight. You might have to loosen up the actual screws in these to make these easier to adjust. Kind of a pain, but not that big of a deal. It's quite obvious that I am more used to the intermediate carbines than I am the full-size battle rifles, so, you know, it is what it is. Now, that's really it. I mean, once you figure out that you can loosen them up, the sights adjust very easily, and they are very affirmative, very precise, too, for iron sights, and damn it, they just work really well. I haven't had the inclination to ninja the thing up, which is not very common, because I've owned 4 AKs in the past, and all 4 times I said I'm just going to leave that AK alone, and I failed at doing that all 4 times. So, you know, it is what it is. But this thing tends to just work really well. I mean, especially with the sight setup that is with it. It just works. So, moving on. Now, in the past, I have thrown like a T1 on here before and stuff like that, and it actually works out pretty good. Just for whatever reason, I decided not to keep one on there. There was no problems with this rail whatsoever. I didn't have anything trying to loosen up on me. Where the T1 used to sit, and that's an aimpoint T1, the little micro red dot, where it sat was perfect for the sights, all that shit. It worked out really good. It's just for whatever reason, I just decided to keep it slick. But if you do decide that you're going to put something up here, I would suggest a T1 simply because it works really, really well. Now, moving on to like controls and all that crazy shit. This is a really simple rifle. Okay, now there is a paddle type magazine release on here that works just fine. I tried out several different ways to unload and reload this in the past, and just because of the short 20-round magazines, I just decided that I was going to keep a magazine in one hand, throw the old magazine in, insert the new one, and once I inserted the new one, run the freaking charging handle. Because I tried several different methods, like the AK type reload and all kinds of shit, but what seems to work out for me the best is to keep a magazine in your hand, throw the old guy out, rock a new one in by keeping the new one in your hand and moving on with it. So that seems to work out pretty well. As far as the charging handle and stuff like that is concerned, it's large enough, yet small enough. And the reason why I say that is that the charging handle seems to not get in the way of anything. It doesn't hook on gear. It doesn't snatch the ground or anything that a lot of idiots tend to say, oh, well, that's a factor on guns like the Scar and shit, which actually have smaller charging handles. But it doesn't snatch anything, particularly gear, but it's large enough for you to hook the shit out of your finger or hand with it and just run the charging handle like a boss. The only thing that I found out over time, and I'll show you examples of that in the footage here, is that if you wear gloves while you're shooting this thing, and if you're a lefty or righty, you need to really stay clear of this op rod. Okay? You can create malfunctions. Like a motherfucker, actually. Because if you have material like gloves and whatnot that hang out and it just touches here, you can cause malfunctions to where I was at first baffled by it. Okay? And for one reason or another, I just had not shot this rifle with gloves until a fighting rifle class that I just went to. For one reason or another, I just forgot gloves, or I was just like, fuck it, I wasn't going to bring them. But I shot it with gloves for the first time at a fighting rifle class in Camden, Tennessee, and I found out you can cause malfunctions readily. I'll show examples of that real quick.
Amen. AK safety's off. And fight. Run that charging handle every time, just like on the pistol. Every time a new mag goes
fucking annoying.
I'm underneath though for me, so you can let gravity help. Yeah.
And all you're really doing is just impeding the action here to where it just kind of gums it up. And all it really does at that point is it kind of, sorry, it's kind of awkward to handle this with a camera on. All it does is it just kind of stops your action right here, as if it's locked itself to the rear. And I was just kind of like, what the fuck at first, but, you know, it is what it is. Now, that aside, the gun is run supremely reliable. Unless it was a fuck up from me, either not loading a magazine correctly, or, you know, I had a dud round like a bad primer or something, because the majority of ammo that was fired through this thing was Wolf, because screw that, I'm not made out of ammunition and money. This thing ran superb. So, you know, yeah, I totally had a couple of malfunctions here and there, but that's only because I did some stupid shit or I had bad ammo. That's it. So, that's really, it is what it is. One thing to kind of note, and it's funny because guys tend to cry about this a lot, but I don't see any validity in that at all, is that when this thing runs, and when it runs a lot, it tends to beat itself up a little bit. And the reason why I say that is that you can see a bunch of little dings in here, right? And before I cleaned it, you could see a bunch of little brass marks on this operating rod. Some people actually give a shit as to whether or not this scars the wood when it fires. Now, personally, if this is a factor in your decision making and whatnot, okay, that's a negative thing, I guess. But really, marks on your rifle, from your rifle being used a lot, to me is a badge of honor. So, you know, it is what it is. But regardless, you know, you can see, you can tell it's been shot a bunch, okay? Because it tends to do that. What is kind of neat about this particular rifle is whether or not I shot Wolf or freaking PMC, which is what you actually see in the video here, the ejection pattern is consistent through almost all of it. I don't know what the hell it is, but the ejection pattern was almost consistently to the 1 o'clock. And I'll show you some quick shooting right now so you can get the gist of what I'm talking about as far as the 1 o'clock pattern.
Avoid that.
Oh, god damn it.
I think you're getting just enough of it. Doesn't take much. Try it like that. It doesn't take much. Just a little bit of a drag.
And it works now.
Yeah, I bet you that's what it is. Motherfucker. It's alright, dude. Way to be new!
So I just found that to be pretty neat. And it definitely helps out. The only thing that I could say is a performance hindering thing or something that I wouldn't have on it is what comes stock with this stock. This little motherfucker is one of the most annoying things in the world. Okay? And the reason why I say that is that it just gets hooked on shit. You'll see it here in some more clips that it just got hooked on stuff. It's not like it was a freaking tremendously hindering thing, but it was definitely fucking annoying. You know, so what I would personally do is I would get like a synthetic stock or just punch the pin out on that thing, get rid of it. But, you know, it is what it is. Now, I'm going to rip this guy apart and I'm going to show you guys a couple of things as far as just the ease of maintenance on this guy. And we'll talk about that real fast.
Alright, when you're done, trigger finger. Trigger straight when you're done.
Alright guys, so now that I got some light redirected and whatnot, I'm going to show you. Like you guys can tell right away that I am a grease guy, and grease is what should be run on a freaking large actioned gun like this. But what you can tell is that the finish on this guy is actually pretty damn awesome. You know, 7,000 rounds fired on a full powered battle rifle. This is really good. I mean, the amount that the finish has been able to deal with, you know, especially since like I run the guns hard, you guys know that. And the amount that it has been able to just dish out and not, you know, deal with too terribly much as far as wear and all that is actually amazing. Okay, and I will continue to say that having this bleed off valve here, or port, or whatever the hell, for gases to escape out of once it's topped off enough gas that it needs, keeping a bolt from overgassing and whatnot, it's brilliant. You know, that, and you can disassemble the piston system here and actually rip this rod out and all that coolness pretty much readily. You know, so it's an old school rifle, but god damn it, it's a tank and it's built really well. And I will continue to say what I had said before. You know, detractors of Springfield being able to build an M1A and all that other craziness, or an M14 pattern rifle, can go fuck themselves. This thing still shoots like a laser. It's still accurate after 7,000 rounds. Okay? Because if I can hit a steel target directly in the freaking heart at 300 yards, I'm sorry, you don't really have much validity when you're trying to tell me that Springfield doesn't know how to build an M1A or an M14 pattern rifle. So, you know, that is what it is. So I'm going to throw this guy back together and I'm going to give you some overall thoughts. So, I mean, overall thoughts to this entire thing. I mean, honestly, this is an excellent rifle. I mean, if you've got the money to use this as a primary fighting rifle, there are no reasons why you should not. There's plenty of aftermarket stuff out there to help you out with turning into a ninja'd up battle rifle and all that craziness. But, you know, honestly, it's the price, and the price of the ammo and all that stuff is subjective. If you're going to go with a battle rifle of any kind, I would not hesitate to pick one of these up. And yeah, there are competitors. Yes, there are good competitors. But this is among the elite and the functional, usable, and gun guy-proof fighting rifles that are out there. Okay? Especially since you have something that makes superb sense and does extremely well in the department of common sense. Because when you make a safety that's here on your rifle, it's squared away. I mean, because that's exactly where it should be. That's exactly where it needs to be. Because if you run your finger across this trigger guard and you feel some smoothness, you know your safety's on. If you run it through here and notice that there's a box there, you realize that you're a fucking idiot and that you need to put your safety back on. Okay? So, it is what it is. And honestly, I'm glad that it's something really good. I'm glad that it's a design that stayed through the ages. Even though the M14 style design is technically something that shouldn't have existed in the first place. Look it up. So anyway, guys, remember, If you have questions about this or anything else, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. If you don't feel like leaving it in the comments, go ahead and run down to the Facebook page that I'll leave a link to in the description below. There's a lot of smart guys that know a lot of shit about this and that can get to you probably a little bit faster than I can in the comments section under this video. So, all that being said, remember guys, a regular guy's firearm is the last defense against tyranny. Be easy. What's going on, guys? It's a regular guy with the Regular Guy Firearms channel, and today I brought you the longevity review of the Springfield M1A Scout Squad. Damn it.